can hit your face.
On police! Put it down now!
Someone's had enough of them, or they haven't paid up in some way. Whoever it was, they know how to handle themselves.
Sounds like you're worshipping our gunman again.
Not worshipping, ma'am. Just making an observation. Each time, from what we know, the killer has been outnumbered and come out without a scratch. In my book, that makes him a pro.
Maybe. I think it's looking like revenge killings.
You do?
Yes. I think it's someone local, taking the law into their own hands. A vigilante.
You don't think it could be this bloke Baker, do you? It doesn't sound likely to me. From the description the Partridges gave, it sounds like he's drawing his pension.
Baker? I knew it. I knew it was you. Had to be.
Try not to talk. Ambulance on its way, son. Just called them. Won't be long.
Don't go in there. He's armed. And a good shot. Don't be a hero, Baker. I think you've done enough.
Who's in there? Weasel?
I shot one of them. It's just the old guy left. Armed response are on the way. They will shoot you. Marley knows this. You too.
Pretty healthy to me. I'm not sure he could be involved, though. I still think our man is younger and linked to drugs.
That photo of him, that must have been late 70s? That was the West Yorkshire Force badge he had on.
So? So what? What am I missing?
The West Yorks Police were one of the first forces to use armed response.
And?
Well, I think our friend Mr. Baker is not only a retired copper, but also a member of the armed units we had. I have an idea that old man Baker may be a bit of an expert with firearms.
So you think he's got a weapons background?
Well, he could have. The medal he was receiving in that photo was the QPM.
QPM? Ma'am?
The Queen's Police Medal. And you only get that for being awarded for bravery and gallantry. In other words, if Henry Baker is who I think he is, he could be very capable. Very capable indeed.
How could a dying old man like that be involved with something like this? And if he is, surely he's doing us a favour. But there are no footprints at any of the crime scenes, so that's not going to pin him to our investigation.
I'm not worried about that. My guess is that Mr. Baker is much more active than we're led to believe. Apart from his coughing, he looked well enough to me.
I agree. He didn't look that bad. But that was a Macmillan nurse vouching for him. If she's an actress, she's a bloody good one.
Let's head back and do some checks on old Baker, shall we?
One thing I don't understand about you, man.
And? What's that?
Well, let's just suppose this bloke Baker is bumping off the local scum and good-for-nothings. Why are we that worried about pinning it on him? I mean, surely he's given us a hand, isn't he? All the people so far that he's killed have been nasty, nasty people. Drug dealers, thieves, and so on. Do you remember what type of car it was?
No, I'm afraid not. It was silver, though.
But you must remember. I mean, was it an estate, a saloon, a sports car, a van? And why would we know him, Mrs. Partridge?
Because he's one of your lot. He's a retired copper.
Going back to the car again, can I ask both of you, approximately how long did it take you to get to the road after you heard the impact?
Fill me in then.
Well, it's an unusual one. 2 deaths, ma'am. A young male, 25, Darren Schofield, and a female, 28, Charlotte Griffin. Schofield's been shot 4 times, twice in the head and twice in the chest. Both crimes took place within 10 minutes of each other, with the gunman's pistol turning up in the hand of the girl.
And she didn't fire it?
We think the gunman placed it in her hand. There are no powder marks on it. We are certain she didn't fire it.
Fingerprints on the gun?
Looks like the killer wiped it clean. Just the girl's prints on it.
So we're talking about someone who's clearly cool and calculating.
Yes, I would agree, ma'am. It doesn't seem like the murderer panicked. More in the style of a professional hit. We do have a number of clues, though.
Such as?
Well, we know the gun is the murder weapon for Schofield, as ballistics have matched the bullet taken out of the wall and from his body to the gun. We have a voice recording of a phone call made to the police moments before the murder took place. The call centre have already emailed it to me, and I forwarded it to you.
The killer made a phone call to the police?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Odd. What about motive? Could it have been a robbery gone wrong?
Neither victims were robbed, though. In fact, Schofield had a roll of notes in his pocket. Just over £1,000.
So, drug-related?
Schofield was a known pusher. As I said earlier, it looks like an execution was carried out on him, and maybe the girl too. It could be a message being sent to their gang. Both are previous with us. Schofield's record is as long as your arm. He's been in and out of Nick since he was a kid. His crime's getting worse as he got older. GBH, armed robbery, possession of offensive weapon, take your pick.
Yeah, I'm sure I've nicked him in the past. We all have, probably.
Some smart-ass barrister got him off the armed robbery. Griffin's been in for various knife-related crimes, and she was the one we nicked in 2005 for the knifing of Peter Tilley. The bus driver, remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Well, it was seen both met their match yesterday. There's a good reason for that. I was nicking him weekly a few years back. He comes from a rough background, like father, like son. His dad's in Winchester prison doing 15 years for armed robbery. So it goes without saying, his dad was a dickhead and he's a complete...
Yes, thank you.
Why did we leave when we did? I thought you let him off very lightly.
That I take very seriously the trust. Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth.
Daddy, how much money do you earn?
Why are you asking?
Emily wants to know.
Amelie wants to know everything, doesn't she? £55,000 a year.
And in a day?
Oh, let me think. A little more than 200.
And in an hour?
That's £26.50. I've got to go now. You be nice for Mrs. Thornhill, okay? Bye. What you got there, sweetheart?
£26.44. 6p short.
6p short for what?
So I can pay you for an hour.
Over.